In this video, I'll show you how to validate market risk XML data using a Microsoft Copilot Studio agent powered by North52's business rules engine. We'll walk through the validation rules, the formula configuration, and see the whole solution in action. The UK Financial Conduct Authority FSA 005 return captures a firm's market risk exposures across 5 key areas: interest rate risk, equity risk, commodity risk, foreign currency risk, and collective investment undertaking risk. The validation rules are defined by the FCA's data definition specification, and our job is to make sure everything adds up correctly before submission. The solution has 2 main components. First, a North52 formula that does the heavy lifting, parsing the XML, extracting values using XPath, performing the validation calculations, and returning either a success message or detailed error messages. Second, a Microsoft Copilot Studio agent that provides the conversational interface, allowing users to upload their files and trigger the validation through a simple chat interaction. Let's look at how the North52 formula is structured. It uses a decision table editor with multiple sheets, each handling a different aspect of the validation. The global calculations sheet. This is where we extract all the values from the XML document using XPath queries. First, we load the XML content using setVar with the response content parameter. Then we use getVar XPath value functions to pull out each specific data point from the return data, using the appropriate namespace. For the add-ons section, we use getVar XPath EC or entity collection to load the dynamic rows into an entity collection that we can iterate over. The main validation sheet. Each row in the sheet evaluates a specific validation condition. We set up conditions in columns A through H, testing things like whether calculated totals match reported totals, and whether sums add up correctly across rows and columns. If any condition returns false, we use the combined message global action to append the appropriate error message to our validation output. Let me walk you through the key rules we're implementing. Rule 3G. This rule validates the general interest rate risk PRR total. The total must equal the sum of the PRR values across all currency columns: USD, GBP, EUR, Swiss franc, yen, and other. If these don't match, we flag it immediately. We build this calculation up by referencing the values defined on the global calculation sheet. Rule 18G. This is one of the more complex calculations. The interest rate total, PRR, must equal the general interest rate, PRR, total, plus the specific interest rate, PRR, total, plus the higher of either the long securitization and re-securitization totals or the short securitization and re-securitization totals, plus the sum of several other PRR components. And finally, the higher of the long or short correlation trading PRR totals. As you can see, this validation involves conditional logic to pick the maximum values in certain scenarios. Rule 70G. This is a conditional mandatory rule. Value 70G becomes mandatory if value 71G, the short correlation trading PRR total, is present in the submission. This ensures data completeness when related fields are populated. The dynamic row validation sheet. The internal models add-on section is particularly interesting because it can contain a variable number of rows. For each add-on row present in the XML, we need to validate that both the description and the value fields are populated. This is what we call dynamic row validation, and it's handled differently from the static rule checks. This sheet handles those repeating add-on rows. We use the for each record function to iterate through the add-on elements. For each record, we check whether the description and value fields contain data using the contains data function. The record index function helps us identify exactly which row failed in our error messages, remembering to add 1 since the error index is 0-based. The output sheet. This determines what gets returned to the unbound action. If any validation failed, the result variable is false, and we return the combined validation messages containing all the error details. If everything passed, we return a simple validation pass message with a green check mark. The global action sheet. Here we define the combined messages action that appends each failed validation message with a line break separator, building up the complete list of all validation failures. This is used when defining which message should be shown when a specific validation fails, as shown here. We add the action from the source tree and replace the dynamic part with the message we want to display. Copilot Studio integration. The data validation agent is configured in Microsoft Copilot Studio with an XML validation tool using an unbound connector action. Users simply upload their FSA 005 XML file, request validation, and the agent passes the XML content to the Dataverse action. The inputs include the environment URL, the action name, and the XML content itself. The output is either that satisfying validation pass message or a detailed list of everything that needs to be fixed. To test this, open the Data Validation Agent in Copilot Studio test mode, upload a valid file, and request validation. If all rules pass, you'll see Validation Passed with the green check mark. Now, upload an invalid file with some calculation errors, and the agent will display all the validation failures with specific error messages telling you exactly which rules failed and why. That's how you can use North52 Business Rules Engine with Microsoft Copilot Studio to automate regulatory validation for market risk data. The combination of XPath-based data extraction, decision table validation logic, and a conversational interface makes this a powerful and user-friendly solution for regulatory compliance. Check out the knowledge base article linked in the description for the full technical details and formula configuration. Thanks for watching.